Okay, you guys, welcome. Come on in. Pull up a chair, have a
Hey,
seat.
Good evening, y'all.
hey. I'm
I'm
partying,
supposed to
y'all,
change
because I'm
the
off
music.
tomorrow.
Hold on, I'm supposed to change the music because we're not doing our regular show. Oh, Sam don't like that.
Oh,
I'm trying to find something that's appropriate. Did y'all? I'm so excited. Okay, this will be today's music. It's called "Feeding the Ducks" because this is a special episode, y'all.
y'all know I only got a snippet of the hearings today.
I know you lying to me, girl. You missed the juice.
I did?
Freshly squeezed,
Ma'am, yes.
freshly
Stop it.
straight. They didn't even take the orange off the tree before they squeezed that glass of juice, honey.
Stop it.
Bang, bang! When I
Mm.
tell you they didn't take the oranges off the motherfucking tree today. Dog,
Oh
they
my
Mm.
the
God.
oranges from hanging one name. Girl,
Mm.
they
Fresh.
painted a pretty picture today.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
clear your throat, honey, because you're gonna need all that air. You're
yes,
gonna need all that
I
Well,
literally
yes.
just clocked out and my ears are burning. So I am ready when y'all are ready to lay the tracks.
I don't even know where to start, girl. Like
There was a lot.
Start with the
Well, first
orange
of
that
all,
they started
well,
squeezing.
well, we'll start with the easiest thing. Everything that gal said at the last hearing, basically other people corroborated what she said
gospel.
about Trump being off his shit, about him trying to choke a Secret Service. Oh, they corroborated all of that.
Yes, they did.
Stop it.
Like Drex said, this the shit that got the block hot. It don't never stop.
So, so they corroborated all those attempts in the days in 24 hours before that rally. All the times that they told him that this was going to be a problem, and all the times he brushed it off and said that they
Baby,
wasn't there to hurt him.
baby.
Mm-hmm.
Planned the rally. He planned it. They told him ahead of time that it was not wise or beneficial for him to go out there and make a speech acting all crazy. He knew ahead of time what he was going to say to those people. He knew ahead of time he was going to incite the mob. They
Those
showed
people.
the tweets. You know, he was tweeting everything. Girl, they pulled up the fucking tweets. I said, go let him back on the Twitter so he can hang himself again. They pulled up,
That's what
Mm-hmm.
I came in on. The tweet
yeah.
about um, the people at the Capitol are fighting, and he loved them. I caught that one. I ran back in the room to catch that. So y'all
Oh, he
keep going.
loved it.
Tell me what happened.
He loved that. And then, he was telling people, we're going to take the fight to the Capitol. Now, all the little nuggets he was dropping that day, honey.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they was
Not to
retweeting
mention,
though. Okay, so they was posting all his tweets.
not only that, but they also showed a lot of connections between Trump and the
The
people
Proud
running these
Boys.
groups. Yes.
Yup.
The Proud Boys and the Oath Keepers. And
Oath
the man
Keepers
from the Oath Keepers
and
came and sang
QAnon.
like a fucking bird today, honey. Talking about, that's the guy that said that he was fine with going along with everything until he encountered the Holocaust deniers. I'm like, sir,
Exactly. Girl, my mouth was open. I was like, so you join a movement and you don't know what the hell the movement about. Is that what you saying, sir? Because that's what it
What?
sounds like.
Well, I heard one of those security guys said that that's what they exactly was telling Trump, that the reason why they was concerned about the rally is because they had started combining ideology. So people from white supremacy, QAnon, and those conspiracy theory people, and Stop the Steal, and just Trump voters all seem to get together online and form this multi
A,
ideological, and they said that's something that just doesn't happen. And they
a
said not
freaky
only,
cabal.
right,
but
not only
listen,
did they come together, but the two groups, like the Oath Keepers and um, the Proud Boys, they had never communicated across paths ever. But they all came together and worked with Roger Stone. So I did watch a snippet of it. Hey, kitty, kitty. Oh, little kitty in my backyard because somebody came and cut my backyard. So they warned him specifically about that. And he was just like, he didn't care. He knew people was coming in with guns. They kept telling him that this was crazy. So yeah, y'all go ahead. That's all I remember.
And then they even had that idiot Alex Jones promoting this bullshit. And then you had somebody who actually, and the part that cracked me up, saying there is going to be a red wedding going down at January 6th. If you watch any Game of Thrones, you know exactly what the damn red wedding is.
You know, honey.
No, we
But
all
the
know what the
red
red
wedding-
wedding was. Mm-hmm.
I was like,
Honey, you didn't even have to watch the show to know what the red wedding was. It turned people out. The red wedding and the fucking purple wedding. If you
That's right.
people
Or was
didn't
it
Yep.
blue? They called it
watch the
purple or
show.
blue.
Right.
They called it purple
I
or
was
blue.
so happy to see Joffrey choke, but yeah.
Yeah, it's what we all deserved.
It's
Pretty much about it.
Tell Cersei I did it. I want her to know.
I
They
loved
said
that.
You
They
didn't think I was
said
going to let
this.
you marry that monster, did you?
They literally said this fool wanted to use the military as an scapegoat if he didn't get what he wanted. Military
But
can help you.
they sent those people there armed, and they said that those people went as a militia, and they were ready to fight the National Guard if they had to. You gonna fight the National Guard?
To the
The
death.
Nash-
That's fighting. But see, that's sedition. That's treachery. That's treason.
And that's exactly why this is an insurrection, not just a rally that got out of control.
Exactly.
But then they was talking about Mike Pence. You know, that's the part that
That
makes
bitch.
my toes curl. Anytime they talk about Mike Pence, my toes curl. Because they sit there talking about how they was ready to let Mike Pence be killed dead. That man said they bought them gallows for Mike Pence.
They
Oh,
did.
they built it
Yeah.
out there for Mike Pence.
Yeah, as soon as
They-
they grabbed on,
and
as
pe-
soon as, go ahead, Dawn.
Oh, and you had buku people saying, well, it was just symbolism. No, it's not. They was going to have old Mike swinging if they got their hands on him.
And imagine what they would have did to Nancy Pelosi.
Exactly. Or any of the other Democrats in that Capitol. Choose.
Because
Because you know that's what happens with mob mentality, like a pack of dogs. They just get ravenous. They would never stop. And this is what those people have done in history. We know that.
if you know what if you know what happened, they got Nancy Pelosi out of there first. Then they called Mike Pence. Mike Pence ran up out of there.
Because they're supposed to be Mike's people. You know, them his boys. Your people that turned on you. Oh, well, we got to come and get Mike now. He can't talk to them people because the big dog then told them that Mike don't pee in the yard no more. They was coming to kill Mike Pence, and that was the chant that they played in one of the other hearings. Kill Mike Pence, hang Mike Pence. They was coming for Michael. We ain't seen Michael since we went back home to damn Utah.
Michael has been hiding as much as possible. He want to stay out of sight and out of mind. I still to this day remember watching the certification while I was at home, and that asshole Chuck Todd saying, wait, did they just take the vice president off the floor? They did. My whole expression changed. I said, now why they didn't ran this man out here? You don't run the vice president out of nowhere unless trouble's coming, and it sounds like trouble's out there.
They was
showing up.
Ass. Do you hear me? They said fuck the police, and that man was like, yeah, we know. When I got home and thought about it, people were dead, and I felt horrible. And he said somebody said to him, well, that was really kind of out of your control. Things happen. And he was like, no, things don't happen. This was inciting people die.
Yes, it was in that bullshit text exchange from Brad Parcell and that woman. I said, well, you knew basically him saying, I feel bad. Well, no, Brad, you don't really feel bad. People who feel bad about people potentially getting killed because of some of the bullshit that they done supported tend to try not to do things like that, sir.
And they talk about some Kevin McCarthy calling up the White House, talk about some, can he stop this? No.
Y'all niggas, y'all was all for
this is what y'all wanted. This is what y'all wanted.
This is what you wanted. This was the prize.
So this what happened. When they was down there in those bunkers and they realized that they was safe from the mob and that those people wasn't going to get to them, They basically saw the jig was up. The people could stay in the Capitol as long as they wanted. They was not going to find the leadership. Once they realized that, that's when they started saying, well, it was a fail. It was a fail.
Pretty much.
Let's go ahead and stop it. But it was too late then. Those people
not to mention,
ones. Mm-hmm.
Not to mention, bless those lady interns who took the damn boats with them when they left out of there.
Yeah, because they said they cleared out both sides of the houses, and they was like they left the boats in there, but all the ladies went back to go get them.
All
the interns went back to grab those boats and took them with them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But listen, you guys, and I'm gonna tell you this is why I keep telling y'all, get ready or get the fuck out. Because that man was like, January 6th had the propensity to be so much worse than it was. It could have been a bloodbath. And he was like, and to be honest, this shit ain't over. It's not over.
No, because it's like the one guy said, the oath keeper, the former oath keeper, who was talking about how he was swept up. Well, yeah, I guess you are swept up. You lost your job, you lost your house, and you got a damn criminal record out of this shit. So guess.
Oh, he made me mad. Talking about and my wife, I really didn't know what I was getting into. You are a grown ass fucking man.
Well, that's why I'm like that Stephen Ayers dude. Mm-hmm. Exactly. And he even said that there was a bunch of red flags. And so, but the thing is, with the guy who was the spokesman for the Oath Keepers, whatever his face was, Tatenho, Huliwu, whatever the hell his name was. What he said was is exactly what Bubbles is talking about, saying point blank that he, just like you said, he said he was swept up, and that basically he realized eventually that basically the president was full of shit, but that there are millions of people who don't believe that.
Right, and they ready to go today. They ready to go.
And you still got Marjorie Taylor Greene still in Congress after she done texted where the speaker was at. Ma'am.
But see, that's what I keep saying about all the branches of government at this point is corrupted. Because
every one of them.
The judicial branch supposed to have already been convicted. All them goddamn senators and Congress people, everybody that took the oath and had texted and communicating about that insurrection in any way that even looked tanky, all of them should have already been charged.
Yes.
We've done it in the past. They should have been charged and stripped of office.
Charged, and literally charged, and hopefully convicted, and all that. But none of that's happened. I mean, we've proven that Trump got the job by fraud.
Mm-hmm.
And you
got the job by fraud. They let him elect. They let him appoint lifetime judges on the Supreme Court, stack the court basically with these quacks.
Ain't no president
at his command.
Ain't no president ever got 3 picks. No president in modern history has ever been able to shift the court that much, because that many Supreme Court spots is not supposed to open up inside of a 4-year term.
Exactly, and it didn't. One of them was Obama's, and the other one was Biden's.
Right.
Yes, two of those spots were stolen. You got that right. 2 of those spots were stolen.
Here's the thing: you can't steal shit that ain't free. I mean, if it ain't already free, because they could have stopped them when Barack put up Merrick Garland's old wishy willow ass, and they were fighting him. Then they did not stand firm and fight for that, and they could have.
No, they didn't, and they should have.
Let it fucking go. Because Hillary's gonna get elected, so
Hillary told their raggedy stupid asses from Jump Street, said point blank, this is serious. The very fabric of the Supreme Court could be shifted incredibly if he gets in office, because first of all, so many of the justices were of advanced age. Quite a few of them, besides Ruth Bader Ginsburg, could have kicked it at any moment.
Exactly.
Yeah. Ruth Bader should have went on ahead. Well, we're gonna let that go. But anywho, not only shifting the court to a certain ideology, they are actually perverting the court by putting in political operatives instead of legal minds.
Exactly. They're putting in
it's not that
ideologies.
Right, exactly. It's even beyond ideology. It's basically it's been corrupted. Every branch has
deeply.
been corrupted. Right now, the
Mm-hmm.
presidency is being held hostage because the judicial branch and the legislative branch are corrupted.
But listen, these people know that shit's corrupted.
They know.
I don't care what anybody says. The Republicans and the Democrats are two sides.
Different sides of the same coin.
I agree 100%.
Yeah, one of them don't give a fuck about it. They gonna do what they want to do. They gonna be balls to the wall. They don't care. They're gonna get it done by any means necessary. Then you got the other group over here that's gonna tell you that they're your friend and they're looking out for you and we're gonna get all of this stuff taken care of. You just gotta give us your trust, and then we give them our trust, and then oh well, we wanted to change that, but what had happened was we just didn't give a fuck. But we didn't want to tell you at the time that we just didn't give a fuck. So sorry about all that. Maybe next time it'll work
And
out.
people keep pushing Joe Biden past the court. This fool keeps saying no. You might want to pass the court at this point.
That's what I mean. That's what we talk. That's what Bubba was talking about. They too pussy to do something.
To do what need to be done.
Make the move. I mean, because if it was the Republicans, they would have did it already.
Because
Trump literally tried to take over.
Trump was in office. Mitch McConnell was just like, so we not putting Mary Garland in there.
Yeah, it's just insane. They just not willing to do a damn thing. And that's why Bubba's saying, fuck it. You might as well just leave because the wrong people gonna keep doing wrong, and the people that claim that they give a shit don't really give a shit. They're gonna keep
they're not willing, they're still playing by an outdated playbook that doesn't even matter anymore.
But if the three of us, the four of us who are not politicians, can clearly see that I said a while ago we needed Bernie Sanders, somebody that was gonna match crazy with crazy. They know it. They just don't give a shit.
Right.
They had it with Hillary, but they didn't want to play cards right.
Well, one thing that I will never ever be set with is that, and that's the thing. They always say that apathy is what will ruin this. Will ruin the world and ruin the country, and that's true. Too many people honestly thought that nah, it'll work out. It'll work out. No, bro, it don't work like that. That's not how That's not how anything goes. But that's definitely not how politics go. You thought that apparently enough people was going to show up and that not enough people was going to take that orange or idiot seriously to keep us from coming to this. But look where we at all this time later. We 2 years out of that bastard being out of office, and it's still a complete wreck in this country.
No, it's getting worse. It's getting worse.
And it's getting worse.
Watch after this election that the Republicans have the House and the Senate and the presidency.
And I believe that. And I already told people, y'all laughing at Trump again. And
no, it ain't nothing to laugh about. I'm gonna put it to you as simply as this: if the Republicans
arrest him.
Yeah, if they don't arrest him, they'll try to get him reelected. And furthermore, if they don't have him, they're gonna throw in with some asshole like Ron DeSantis, which is even worse, actually.
Yeah, but we got to deal with prosecute motherfuckers, because when we start prosecuting motherfuckers, a lot of they next up.
And now they talk about now reporters came up from the Justice Department saying the prosecutors was just shocked
arresting these people that's been committing these crimes.
They were shocked. I don't know how. The rest of us weren't.
They talk about something. They shocked about the last hearing. No, maybe if y'all get up and do what the January 6th committee is doing and start investigating these people, y'all got more power than the January 6th committee.
Exactly. It's like, and also, like I said before, the whole part of the whole issue is these people sitting up here pretending like they have all of the time in the world to try to just say, well, yeah, no, we don't really, we don't really have to do anything. We don't really have to come up with any results. You keep not coming up with results. You keep not caring about how things are going to go. And guess what? All that's going to do is depress turnout, because no matter how you flip it, the generic congressional poll data for the 2022 election is still in the, even if you splice the difference between the left-leaning poll data people and the right-leaning ones, because you have some that go one way, one that go the other way, and then you have the people down the middle. No matter how you slice it, the Republicans still have a lead margin on Democrats, when but after everything that's happened in the last 2 years, they should be in the gutter, but they're not. So let me tell you something. We could sit up, y'all. People could sit up here and not be ready for not have an escape plan. I live in hurricane. I live in hurricane country. So that means that for a significant chunk of the year, I need a plan to get the hell out of the way in case a hurricane wants to come flatten my damn house and everything else around it. And the same thing applies to this. If the Republicans manage to cinch the Senate and the House, both, if they get one or the other, they're going to basically not get anything done for the last 2 years because whatever party controls whatever one is going to make sure that the other one don't get shit, and that's just going to be that. It's going to almost be a stalemate 90% of the time.
The Democrats
So,
in trouble for real because they
yes,
got
they are
20. They got 20 Democrats that not running again no more. And then plus on top
exactly.
of that, you got what's his name? Say he's stepping down because of he getting thrashed because of this. Sir, you might want to step down.
Well, that's the thing. If the Republicans manage to cinch both the House and the Senate, guess what? I'm going to be very blunt. If you don't have an exit strategy by the end of 2022, you need to have one by 2024 and be ready to execute that bitch. And that exit strategy needs to involve a passport and a ticket to somewhere else. Because there's not gonna be much left of this place if they're controlling both of the Senate and the House, and because they're going to get the presidency in the next presidential election if it comes to that.
Because Kevin McCarthy's still mad about 2018 when he lost to Nancy Pelosi. So you was not gonna win against her.
Well, here's the thing: he's not gonna win now because he didn't come off as being too bitch. They're not gonna go with him. They'd rather probably give it to Steve Scalise from my state, who I cannot stand.
They already said, the senators already said, oh, if we went back to House, we putting in Donald Trump. I'm just like, oh boy.
You know they are, and they are going to win because I think I even talked to y'all last night, or maybe it was this afternoon, about how there's another group of I'm sorry. There's another group of ultra conservatives out there who are going against what they consider to be liberal Republicans. We have a guy running here in Tennessee, and I can't remember his name. He has one of the most offensive commercials I've ever laid eyes on, but this Tennessee. And so I'm like, hold on. Who's out here dragging these Republicans? Because this guy seems like he's a Trump Republican, but they're saying that he's not even good enough. He's even being Team Trump, he's too liberal. They are trying to get the underbelly elected now. They are going for people who are hardcore, worse than Trump.
Well, what they're going for are people that are not. These are people that are just power hungry, and they're going to push the agenda. And the agenda is white supremacy.
It is. Now, I ask y'all something.
I mean, Marjorie Taylor Greene has no qualifications to be a public elected official.
But
these people are not.
That's what,
exactly. And that's why you're concerned. Because the person that is the worst person is the person that the Trump voters are going to vote for.
Yeah.
And we know that. And so that's the depressing and the sad thing about all of this is that we watch these hearings and we see all the treachery that's been done, and we know ain't shit gonna happen. Even as we watch the hearing, we can know it. Ain't nothing gonna happen.
Because the chairman keeps saying they want transcripts. First of all, Justice Department, if y'all want transcripts so badly, how about you have your prosecutors come over and come get the transcripts? Since they want them so badly.
That's the part that cracks me up, is that you have these people who are in the position to have all this information and also easily obtain it. They have it. It's there for them to get it. They sitting up here acting like, oh well, I can't really get that information. Girl, you know how stupid that is, dude. That's like look, and like people like Marjorie Taylor Greene, that's what they want. That heifer won her primary by a landslide. She got 70% of the vote. in her primary. That means 70% of the Republicans in her district chose her instead of the other two people who ran against her. She got like 72,000 votes, and the next person behind her didn't even get 20. So even if you didn't want to go Republican, they chose not only to go Republican, they chose to go with her kind of Republican. That tells you a lot right there.
The worst of the worst. That's exactly what they're picking, and that's exactly why people should be afraid, because 2024 is going to be so much worse than 2016. There's going to be actual revolting, I feel like it, based on the way that man testified today, saying this is just the part of the pimple that you see. I don't know if y'all had that in health class, but when I was in middle school, we had classes on how to take care of your body, and we got to acne. And my middle school PE teacher, I will never forget, Coach Anthony Hardaway, may he rest in peace. This man is the one who taught us about comedone extractors and told us you're not supposed to be trying to pop your zits with your fingers, because all you're doing is getting that stuff that's on the top, and you're going to make a mess, and you're going to end up spreading the bacteria that's inside of that little zit all over your face, and you're going to make more zits. You need to get yourself a comedone extractor so that you can get it all the way out to the root. What y'all don't understand is they only popped the head of this zit in 2020. Just the head of this zit got popped when we got a new president. Nobody pulled out a comedone extractor. In 2024, the rest of this pimple is going to come to a head, and the shit that's going to come out is going to be the greenest, most putridest pus you have ever seen in your entire life. And it is going to ruin everything. If you can't get out, get ready. That man told us that them people promised a bloodbath the next time. If you can't get out, get ready. Get you some Kevlar packets. And like I said, I'm not a conspiracy theorist 9 times out of 10. I don't believe a lot of stuff that people just bring up. But when white people act crazy like this and they get into that mob mentality and they think you're trying to take something from them, and they've been sitting around for decades, listening to their great-grandpappies talking about how great the Confederacy was, and someday the South is going to rise again, and you got Proud Boys and white supremacists and Nazis and everybody else running around all over the place. It's going to get crazy. Them people are not going to go home unfulfilled the next time. As Sam likes to say, they want their payoff.
Yes, and they are.
These
and they
people
learned
are not
a lot of lessons
around all over the place. They are already elected officials.
Right.
They're already judges. They're already Supreme Court judges. They are already congressmen. They are already senators and Congress ladies. They're already in the White House. They're already everywhere in the police.
They're already in the state legislature,
ready to be activated. Because this is what they've always wanted, to return to white supremacy.
Mm-hmm. And like I said before, y'all don't get so focused on presidential elections. They matter, but it's the
local elections are the ones that's gonna kill you.
It's the little elections that create the big monsters, because you get somebody, maybe they started out on the HOA. Now they want to be a city representative. Now they want to be a council person. Now they want to move up to state legislature. Now they want to move up and be a state senator or a congressperson. You got to watch people from the bottom, because when they get to the top, that's how you're going to know what kind of person they are. If they already shit when they start at the bottom, they're going to be a huge pile of shit when they get to the top, because that's the person who's going after, because they want the power that comes with it. They don't care about helping people. They're shitty people, and they want power because power is delicious. Power is better than money in some cases. Power will get you money. So you got to watch these people. I swear when I say take it to the HOA level, you got to watch these people at the base, because they come from somewhere. And we always sit around and go, well, where did this person come from? Meanwhile, they've been in their state for years fucking shit up.
Now, but the thing is, it's too late for that anyway. It's absolutely too late to look at anybody from the bottom, because our ultimate top is already corrupted.
You are
the only thing that's going to fix this mess is if they start arresting all of
consequences,
them.
real,
That's what I'm
tangible,
talking about. And
criminal
that's what I'm talking about.
consequences.
Literally get angry because we all know and we could agree with each other about what's happening and what the problem is. But until they start arresting people for sedition, treason, and putting all these bastards in jail, everybody that was out there and everybody that said it's going to be a bloodbath, and you show these people that's at home acting like they stupid, that they going to spend the rest of their life in damn jail, they'll think twice about 2024. But as long as they keep pussyfooting around, highlighting the crime, but not punishing them for it, you goddamn right we can expect the worst in 2024.
Because it's coming. It's coming. They've already laid the groundwork for it. We're just gonna sit here and watch it. These hearings, I feel like, is gonna drag on probably till next year because they're gonna tell you every little thing, and by the time they get
but not do a damn thing.
Right, and they're not gonna do nothing, or by the time they get around to doing something, it's gonna be too late. Your boy gonna be a candidate on the ticket again.
What they thinking is that once they expose all the crime, that's going to affect the vote with they dumbasses.
No, they sitting up here because for the 99th damn time, they expect the voters to do their goddamn job for them. Oh, we just need more of this and we just need more of that. Bruh, it don't matter what we give you. You're too chicken shit to take action. And you eroded the confidence of your base so much that they don't believe a word you say anymore.
Joe Biden could have held up that motherfucking court as soon as he got in and started adding goddamn justice.
Let's talk about Joe Biden. I'm glad you brought him up because I saw when I was supposed to be going to Instagram to check out Catherine's party, but because I still don't know how Instagram works after 10 years, I ended up on one of those reels that shows you posts that people just posted. And Annika posted two things that I found to be very interesting. The first one was about the walkout. So they're going to have a walkout in a couple of days, all the women to walk out to protest the overturn of Roe versus Wade. But hold on. So I'm like, hold on. Is she going to walk out of shooting to go? Because they're talking about everybody just walk out this day and don't go to work. So if they still on break, is she still going to walk off a set? That's what I want to know. Now, Joe Biden, this is the thing that got me because we're talking about courts. And this is what got me to thinking about it because that was the first little reel. And so, if they have more than one, it spins over to the next page. Well, when her spun over to the next page, it was talking about Joe Biden picking an anti-abortion judge for a court. And I was like, surely this is a myth.
Oh, no, it is not.
Girl, I went and asked the Google about this shit. So your Catholic president, who out here
cutting fucking deals that don't matter, pardon my French.
Church and state has made a deal with Mitch McConnell to put in a judge who is anti-abortion and pro-Trump. He's going to put him in the courts. He's going to give him a seat in Kentucky.
He can try. He can try because the bottom line is he can nominate who the hell he wants, but them damn Democrats in the Senate have to vote for it. And if they vote for it, the same bullshit that's splashing on him for this is going to splash on them. And they stupid.
What is Biden trying to get out of this deal?
It's some stupid deal he's caught with Mitch McConnell that's not even worth it.
A deal for what?
I'm trying to see now. I'm reading now.
Basically, he's trying to bring the Republicans to his side.
Okay.
Oh, go ahead.
Here's the meat of it. So the planned nomination is reportedly part of a deal with Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell. And the deal is President Joe Biden struck a deal with Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell to nominate Chad Meredith, a Republican anti-abortion advocate, to a federal judgeship on the Eastern District of Kentucky. Under the arrangement, Meredith would take the seat currently occupied by Judge Karen K. Caldwell, a George W. Bush nominee. Caldwell submitted her move to senior status on June 22nd, which once complete will allow Meredith to take the seat. A lawyer with connections to the Kentucky governor's office who are familiar with the agreement told Slate that Caldwell conditioned her move upon the confirmation of successor, specifically the conservative Meredith. In exchange, McConnell will allow Biden to nominate and confirm two U.S. attorneys to Kentucky. So
you know how worthless that is?
Two U.S. attorneys in exchange for a judge. What the fuck, sir? You sit here exchanging gold for pyrite?
And
yes,
and just so, a lifetime appointment.
Yes, and just so you know, whenever we get a new president, all them attorneys can get recalled and moved.
If they
so what the hell?
They all perform at the leisure of the president.
Yes, you are appointed at the pleasure of the president.
Ferrara got replaced out of the Southern District.
Exactly. Judges, however, it does not work like that for obvious reasons. So you sitting up here talking about how you gonna trade a lifetime appointment for a job that's only gonna be guaranteed for two spots that are only gonna be guaranteed for 2 years? Are you stupid?
Yeah. If he does this, we'll know it.
Oh, well, first of all, he's going to have a hot, interesting time trying to get that through, because the thing is, apparently, there are some other people in the Capitol who can do basic goddamn math and understand that a lifetime appointment versus over a damn 2-year job is somehow maybe not worth it.
Yeah, because it sounds like they're trying to get, what is he trying to get? He's trying to get 2 district attorneys. Is he trying to get Trump prosecuted somewhere?
Not in Kentucky. No, I don't know.
Right, where's he trying to get the Bubbles? Where was those district attorneys?
So hold on a second. Kentucky, and it doesn't say
Kentucky.
It's just 2 U.S. attorneys
in Kentucky.
In Kentucky,
completely worthless.
In exchange for giving the Eastern District federal judgeship to an anti-abortion Trump supporter.
Well, guess what? He gonna have a good time, because Dick Durbin already said he has yet to hear an explanation, and he's the one running the damn Judiciary Committee. He has yet to hear an explanation that explains why the hell this deal is of any benefit or even needed.
You know what? They cut these people. They cut these people feet from under them. Listen to this. So. The deal has prompted fury from Democrats since it was first reported by the Louisville Courier-Journal's Andrew Wolfson and Joe Sonka on Wednesday. Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear, a Democrat, confirmed the planned nomination at a Thursday press conference. Democratic Rep. John Yarmouth also confirmed the White House's intent to nominate Meredith in an interview with Slate on Friday. Yarmouth described the agreement as indefensible and said he wrote the strongest text message I've ever written to anybody to contact at the White House expressing his outrage. Beshear and Yarmouth were especially frustrated because they had intended to submit potential nominees as soon as vacancy arose on the court. The White House was aware of this plan but did not inform them that Caldwell planned to take senior status. As a result, Beshear and Yarmouth had no opportunity to make recommendations. Instead, the Biden administration coordinated with McConnell to tee up Meredith's nomination once Caldwell announced her intent to leave the seat. According to Slate's source in Kentucky, McConnell agreed in exchange to stop blocking Democrats' preferred nominee for U.S. attorney in the state.
Who cares?
McConnell has replaced his own allies in those positions, including prosecutor Thomas B. Wine, who, as the Jefferson County Commonwealth's attorney, refused to charge the police officers who killed Breonna
Taylor. That fool.
I understand how brutally manipulative Mitch is, Yarmouth told Slate, but at some point you have to stand up to him. You have to just confront him and say, no, we're not going to appoint your people. We're not going to let Mitch McConnell appoint judges and other federal officials in a Democratic administration. So basically, Joe Biden said, fuck all of y'all. I'm going to do this because I feel like I need 2 U.S. attorneys.
I want to see who the hell going to vote for. Because at the end of the day, that judge still has to get through the Senate. Now, if Joe's decided that this is the path he won't take, okay, I want to see the Senate get behind. I want to see enough Democrats get behind it to make this shit work, because the Republicans don't have the votes on their own. Some of them are gonna have to vote for it. Something more than cinema and mansion, old bitch asses.
You know, though, I don't put nothing past people, because the fact that he's willing to, and he's not just going along with this to humor McConnell by saying, I'll go ahead and give you this appointment, and if he gets voted through, then that's that. But if he don't get voted through, you still got to give me what I want. That's a big risk. We don't even take those types of risks in poker. We don't take them kind of risks on let's make a deal. So I think that Joe Biden has pretty much fucked us. And I don't see the Republicans saying no to this.
No, they're not. This is the kind of shit their base eats up. They like that shit.
They getting everything they want. They finna get all the power they want. They're not gonna rock the boat.
Right. They ain't gonna say shit. And it's gonna be a couple of Democrats that'll go along but you guys, we're getting 2 United States attorneys in Kentucky. We're gonna get
that'll get booted out of their job in 2 years.
Right, by the fucking judge, probably. So
you trading a lifetime position. That's like telling somebody, look, you can have the house, but you gotta buy me lunch. What the hell?
And plus, you're teaching the Republicans that all they need to do to get what they want is to hold up appointments.
Yep.
Let that crusty bitch stay in her spot if she wants to sit up until she dies. Let those attorney general's positions stay whatever the hell they are, and put a damn and just leave it as it is. Because at the end of the day, what you're getting is worthless. What you're losing is worth something, and it's better than sitting up here looking like Mitch McConnell that bent you over the table with some Astroglide.
So you telling me Joe Biden is sitting in the Oval Office listening to the arch enemy who literally took his predecessor's spot,
sir. And then we just get through telling you this is 2 different sides of the same coin.
Also, keep something important in mind. Joe Biden ain't no rookie. He old as shit. And how long has Joe been? He was a senator
in the the Senate.
Hasn't it been like 80-something years?
He's
like a damn near.
He's been there long enough to fight against civil rights, because that's how he started out with his segregation laws. I don't know why we trusted Joe Biden.
I never did. I voted for Bernie Sanders. And when I was pissed off, I get pissed off every time I think about it, because I always knew what we needed. We needed Bernie's crazy ass and all that wild shit he was promising everybody. It really wasn't about what he can give us. Not my opinion. It was the fact that
he was willing to tell those people to go fuck themselves. That's the point.
Pretty much.
If it was needed, he would tell them to go fuck themselves.
You know what I'm saying? And they couldn't have that though. They fucked us when they literally basically backed Bernie before they even let the people decide if they wanted to primary Bernie or Hillary.
Joe was a damn senator for 30 years. He know how the Senate work. He know how this game is pledged. So he knows better.
Exactly. He knows what's broken, and he picked what he wanted to damn fix. He wanted to fix student debt, the prices of medication, and the rich need to pay their fair share of taxes. Because it makes a damn shame that I have to pay more taxes than Trump.
Listen, when he said that he was coming after them people for taxes, I already knew he didn't have no chance. And let me tell you, I am not a stranger to supporting third-party candidates. Once upon a time, I supported Ron Paul because I felt like he was really saying what I wanted him to say. But then he turned out to be crazy, and his son is even crazier than he is. But what he was saying at the time made a whole lot of sense. And I'm like, why are we looking at things this way? What this is groundbreaking. Libertarian, honey. I got into politics hard and heavy back in the mid 2000s. And I even went to these Republican breakfasts that they were throwing up at the Shoney's because I wanted to see what those people talked about. I wanted to see how they thought. I wanted to see how they planned. I wanted to see how they retconned. And I learned so much going to them Shoney breakfasts. I was always the only Black person. And y'all, they was happy to see my ass each and every time. Like, we don't really understand why you're here. But the fact that you are here makes us really feel like we might be reaching your people.
They liked
Right.
the fact that I went to Bubbles, and I'm from Chicago, so I'm heavily in Democrat land. Only place else, if Chicago wasn't in Illinois, it would be a Republican state.
Yeah.
And by them having them little breakfasts and them lunches and them picnics and stuff, I went. They liked the fact I was young, black, and a woman. I was a triple threat.
Yes, honey. The Republicans love black women.
So do.
Because they've never been able to make any real inroads into that particular part of the voting block. So when they see young black women, they adore it.
Yeah, if they feel like if they swing more black women over to the party, that it will change. It will flip back to where it was heavily black Republicans.
And you know what? They ain't lying. If they can get the black people back from the Democrats,
yeah,
it's a fucking wash.
You can forget about, because you think about it. You think about who you learn all your politics from. Same person who you learn about going to church from. Your mom. Mom is the head of the house. Only time it's been the dad is if the dad is a single parent or he's really, really into politics. That's my opinion.
Well, I just know I learned a lot from my luncheons and breakfasts with these people. And so I saw Trump coming. I saw him coming, and I was warning people in 2014, 2015. When he was going out saying, I don't know, maybe I'll run for president. I ain't got nothing else to do. I'm bored.
Hillary gave the heads up morning when he first came down the escalator.
You know what?
It happened at that damn state dinner when he got embarrassed. When he got embarrassed by Obama, and Obama made all them jokes.
Yep.
That's when he took it serious.
Yeah.
He said, you know what? I can show you better than I tell you.
Yep.
And that's exactly what he did.
He went Sheila Carter on them. Don't you call me crazy. I'm going to show you crazy.
Yeah.
And then I think it did start out as a joke for him in the beginning. Because
it did. He didn't never think he was going no dig on White House.
No. He didn't want
He's not qualified.
This limits him, and being under Secret Service, you trying to choke people out. It limited his money-making ability, but because he's a narcissist, and y'all told him he couldn't, and you made him a laughing stock.
Yeah, in front of the world.
Shit. Right, and when people was laughing at that joke, I will never forget. It was Jimmy Fallon, and I don't even fucking watch Jimmy Fallon. But the joke replayed the next day, and I was like,
did you see?
Did y'all really do that?
Yes, they
did.
For
y'all now. He coming now. Ain't nothing you can do but breathe. He coming now. And I started to warn people. Y'all, let me tell y'all a little bit background on myself. Back in the 90s when we didn't have no internet or nothing like that, I was in high school. I graduated in 1991. Donald Trump was every fucking where in the 90s. He was everywhere.
Every rap video.
He was the rappers love
movie cameos and Chrome Alone, all kind of shit.
That's what ruined me from watching him alone.
On Simpson show, he's everywhere.
He was everywhere. I read his books. That's why I know how to play Monopoly. I will never lose Monopoly. And I give Donald Trump that credit because I read The Art of the Deal twice. I was obsessed with Donald Trump when I was in high school. I read his books. We took a trip to Washington one time, the Trump because he had his own airlines at one time.
On casinos and stuff.
Yeah, we used to have.
All the stuff went tits up. But here's the thing: nobody cared about that part of the story in the 90s. Nobody cared about bankruptcies or the fact that he was a businessman who had enough money to start these businesses, but kept crashing and burning them. Nobody cared about that.
He hoped that they would burn because he was getting money off the insurance. He was getting money.
Bankruptcy.
Exactly. He never lost any money.
Right.
Bankruptcy is a rich person's trick.
It's a rich white man's hedge fund. How you say that?
Yep.
More or less, is they get out of debt free card.
There you go.
But my thing is, if anybody had just read just one of his books, you ain't have to read all of them. And he didn't even write them; he had ghostwriters. But if you had read just one of his books, you would have understood what kind of person he is and how he plays the game. He's been doing this shit his whole life, running rimshot over people. And then if you embarrass him,
Mm-hmm.
he's like a soap villain. You embarrass him, he coming for your whole life.
Yeah.
And they embarrassed that man that night, and I was like, we are so fucked right
And
now.
I said the same. I said, y'all turned the state dinner into a roast fest.
Right.
Like it was.
They thought because they thought
First
it
of
was
all,
harmless. It was
it was
anything but.
inappropriate. It was very inappropriate because of the type of dinner that it was, and
Yeah.
This wasn't
they
no
made it
comedy sense. This
personal.
wasn't a comedy club dinner.
Right. And that was what sealed the deal, in my opinion, because you saw his face. He
Mm-hmm.
put that glued on smile on his face, but his eyes was dancing. You could tell that man's feet was wiggling and jumping up underneath that table because his wife looked like,
She looked like, oh my God, he is going to make
why are
it
they
just
saying
like
this? Do they not know who this fool is?
right. She had that.
Oh my God, they gonna have me in that damn White House.
Right. She was struggling. I cannot.
And here's the thing: most of the Trump campaign freely admits that they really didn't think he would win because the problem is a lot of people underestimated him and overestimated the basic level of intelligence of their fellow Americans.
Yeah.
That and the fact that racism is still king in this country.
But another thing that they missed, and this is why those jokes were so important. They completely forgot about these people in the rural areas. They always do. They
They
always
always do.
forget about the country people because nobody wants to go out to the country to canvass and talk to those people.
Yeah.
The place that I used to work, I had to drive back roads through the country every day. And I promise you, if I saw one Trump sign, I saw 100. People were having multiple signs in their yards. Entire neighborhoods, entire neighborhoods in the country. Y'all not coming out here to these people. You done forgot about these people. Ain't no Democrat signs out here. You really think you're gonna win without getting the people in the rural areas? This election that just happened in Colombia, y'all know I always go back to Colombia because that's fixing to be my second home. So when President Gustavo Petro decided he was going to be president, he went and talked to the underserved classes in the rural areas, the people who were less cared about, less cared for. You know, the state didn't care nothing about them. These are the people that they threw away because they're conservatives. They're the equivalent of the Republican Party over there had been in place for so long that they knew they didn't need those people out there. They didn't need them. They had a stranglehold.
They put them as second-class citizens.
Yeah, they're worse than second-class citizens.
Yeah.
Gustavo went out there and said, listen, I'm going to help y'all because I've been there. We all poor, and these people got a stranglehold on us and the money. We need to get rid of them and take our fucking country back so we can live like people. Like they were living horribly over there. Honey, Gustavo Petro is my president, okay? That's all I know.
I
But
feel you.
he did what Democrats do. Democrats are so stuck on metropolitan areas and going cities that you forget these little hick towns and places that ain't even got a stop sign, much less a traffic light. You forgot about all them people out there voting.
And see, this is what I'm saying too. Like this whole country has been doing it. They've been getting like rid of urban areas that's heavily populated, like projects and low income housing and all these areas, and they have been shipping people who are on government assisted programs like Section 8, low income housing, and they have been putting them down in rural areas. I've been noticing this for years. This started happening in the late 90s. They have been putting these people in rural areas for a reason.
Honey, yeah.
Because they want to flip their vote. If you cannot flip a metropolitan area, what do? You break it down. You put those people that's in those metropolitan areas down in them hick towns and them rural areas, and you put them in them areas and you give them everything you want. And so when it's time to vote, you tell them you vote for him because he gave you this and he give you that. That's how you flip vote. When you flip votes, you flip parties.
Yep.
So that's what they doing. That's what they've been doing.
That's how the Democrats got the black people.
Yep.
They flipped it.
They big migration from the South flipped the country from Republican to Democrat.
Yep, sure did. Oh, child, the people knew the history of this country. Once you learn it, you know it was never made. It wasn't really made for nobody but the rich white men.
Yep. Rich Protestant white men.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else was an afterthought. And then you have people who just, and the thing is, honestly, the best possible scenario that we could hope for in the 2022 election. Okay, first of all, we're not getting the dream, okay? We're not getting the dream of healthy Democrat minorities that can get whatever policy changes they want without Republican support. That's not happening, okay? Because that's not happening. Because if that happened, then first of all, the Democrats, most of the Democrats don't even want that to happen, because not the less progressive ones, because then they have no excuses for why they can't do what needs to be done. Yeah. If you got the Oval Office, and you have healthy majorities in the Senate and in the House, then you get shit done. Because here's the thing, that's what Republicans do. They pass whenever they have both houses, they pass whatever the hell it is they feel like passing, and they deal with the consequences later, of which there are usually none. That's why that's why that tax bill got passed that was complete bullshit.
But Democrats will not change their brain. They will not change their handbook. That's why the party, it keeps losing these wars. They keep focusing on these little battles. See, if the Democratic Party was smart, all these areas that's been broken down and that's still semi heavily Democrat, they will put people in political power that look like the people that they're supposed to represent. If they would stop putting these incumbent old white men who are out of touch and they only come knocking on the door every 4 years, they would not worry. They wouldn't have to worry about losing votes. They wouldn't have to worry about losing ground.
Exactly.
They don't care no more.
No, they don't.
No, they don't. And the best possible outcome we're going to possibly get out of 2022 is if the chances of them losing the House are even bigger than their chances of losing the Senate. The best possible outcome they have is a stalemate where the Republicans take the House, but the Democrats manage to keep a stalemate in the Senate. So that just means they get to spend the next 2 years not passing any damn thing until we get to the next presidential election and everything goes to hell for sure.
You know what?
They need to have both houses.
What was that, Bubbles?
I said we got to be sick of that because we just recently just did that.
Yes, we did.
With 20,
and with Kamala as 51, right? With Kamala as the 51st vote for the Democrats in the Senate, we still ain't got shit done.
Right.
No, exactly.
And now they getting up talking about a spending bill coming.
And her ass better not be at Boulay this week. I know that. You need to be in Washington and not in Florida, ma'am. That's not for you this week.
She's been doing travel every week at this point.
I bet she better not be. No, let me go log into this website and see that help is at Boulay. I'm going to call her out on the damn Twitter. Ma'am, this is a more serious matter than sorority. Take your ass back to Washington and get some shit done, because y'all ain't did shit.
Because Joe Biden get ready to go overseas.
Joe Biden over here proving the Republicans might have a point because his doddering ass is really fixing to put an anti-abortion pro-Trump judge on a one-time seat just so he can get not even attorney
that ain't worth the shit.
2 U.S. lawyers that ain't gonna really do nothing or overturn nothing or have no real, like, what the Ooh,
Joe
y'all.
Biden is fin to lose in 2024.
He sure
The
is.
Oh, that's a
Democrats,
guarantee
the
at this
Democrats
point.
need to have the Senate and the House because they do not. If the Democrats don't have the legislative department, they already gonna lose the executive. They have lost the judicial. They got to have both houses. They can't just give up one. No, they gotta have both because if all three
It's a
forms
stalemate.
of government is heavily Republican, it's an all-out war. You better believe it's gonna be over with.
They
Yep.
might want to call. They
Exactly.
might. They might
The
want to
best
call
we can
Hillary
hope for
for.
is a stalemate. That's it.
Put it
He
on the
better
If
shirt.
call.
we're lucky.
Yeah.
Hillary been sending out warnings ever since Joe Biden became president. Like, dude, you need to get out. Tell your people in both houses do their job.
You know
But
what
see,
though?
but
I side Hillary Clinton because that's them the same people that titled us as super predators. Black people as super predators. So I take everything she said with a grain of salt on that side. I don't care that she forgave her husband for fucking with that girl, but I do feel some kind of way because their policies in the 90s is why there's so many black people locked up
it
right
sure
now.
is. It sure
Now,
is.
guys, listen, I'm gonna dip
Hmm.
out on
It's
y'all
not.
early tonight, but I wanted to say good night, okay?
Okay,
All
Sam.
right. Have a good night, Sam. We'll see you tomorrow when we're back to our regular scheduled programming.
Fantastic. Good night, guys.
Good
Good
night.
night. If Hillary would have supported Bernie instead of being a rival, then they could have been in the office together, and she could have been president coming up this year, coming up in 2024.
Shoulda,
I'm
coulda, woulda,
sorry, but
girl.
she lost that ticket, and she knew she was. How do
See,
you
here's the
mean to tell
thing.
me all that trash that Donald Trump has done? He done all his stuff was out in the open. He done assaulted women. He have
They
verbally
don't
and
care.
physically. They let this man still become president, but you get outed of the running for some freaking emails. Yeah, you knew
Hillary,
they were coming
Hil-
for you.
Emails that it was an excuse, just like
Yes,
it. That's all it is. That's all it was an excuse. Because first of all, one thing I'm gonna be very blunt. This country, aside from this country not being able to handle having a black president, because you saw what a shit show this place started turning into as soon as they realized they effed up and let that black man in office, just
And
like they couldn't tolerate. But it's true. That's the whole basis of the Tea Party, which is when this revival of white supremacy being mainstream and coming back in style. It's just like it's just like bell bottom jeans. White racism don't go nowhere. It has these periods of when it's considered stylish and when it's considered out of style. Well,
yeah,
the problem is Barack getting into the White House brought racism back in style again. It wasn't gone, but it was back in style. So just like they weren't ready for that, I honestly do not think this raggedy ass country is ready to put a woman in the top spot. They don't have the guts. They don't,
they never will.
and
And
never
that's
will.
Hillary lost that spot because first of all, you picked a new Democrat that nobody knew about. He came out of nowhere. He was a fresh senator. We didn't know who he was.
yeah.
That's what she messed
Well,
up at.
well, she messed up many, many times long
who
before
you
she
talking about, Reginald?
Tim Kaine,
Oh
vice
yeah,
president pick that nobody heard about until she said,
yeah,
"I picked this man to be my vice president."
yeah. He
We
seemed
was
like he
all
was
like,
a life raft.
yeah, we was like, "Who? Okay,
Yeah.
girl, whatever." But yeah, I mean, if y'all want her for president, that's fine. But I'm gonna always side eye the Clintons, and I worked on Bill's campaign when I was in high school. But I'm
Me
gonna
too.
always side eye them people because, ma'am, I help your husband get elected. Then you turn around and call my people super predators and put us in jail and made
Uh,
all these fucked up laws. That is the
Hold
reason.
on, I got one better for you, Bubbles.
Gone, girl.
I grew up within a mile radius of where Hillary was born. So yeah, all these people around here were just, oh, we got a hard time, girl. She married, she going to the White House, and blah blah blah. Yeah, and what? I don't trust them. I couldn't trust them then. I just felt like it was too much of too much of the shuck and jiving, trying to buy votes, and that's exactly what happened. He bought all these votes, shucking and jiving on Arsenio Hall, and they bought it. That's what killed me about our people. It just seemed like all you need to do is just have lunch at a chicken restaurant and shoot a couple of hoops and play the saxophone, and you can buy the vote. Honey, that's exactly why I never wanted to be a Democrat, because you're not going to see me coming. No, you're not going to think I'm going to be just because of my on the outside. And Joe going to say it, and people still went to the damn polling place and put this fool in office.
Listen,
you're not going to sit up there and talk. I can't call myself.
We all explained it as he was one of the best of two evils.
Listen. That's what it always comes down to with Democrats. It's not because anybody. It's not because, believe me, it is not because they're the best man for the job. It's because they're the slightly worse version of what's available.
And Hillary still would have been the same choice, the lesser of two evils. I don't care what nobody says.
That's why I did it.
Because she's the one that didn't show you how to research stuff on your own. But I'm gonna say what I say, and I said what I said.
She already said in the interview in 2024 she's not running. Because they keep trying to say, "Oh, is Hillary going to run?" She said no.
Of course not.
I don't care if she runs again. Ma'am, you've had your chance more than you should have in the first place. And people were falling all over themselves to elect her because, yes, she had more experience because her husband served 2 terms and she got all this sideline quarterback being in the environment, and she's got Bill there. People love the Bill. Y'all also notice how Bill Clinton was sold as our first black president. Y'all remember that?
Yeah, I remember that bullshit. And they sit up there and try to.
I was like, that was ridiculous.
It don't make no sense. If that's the case, then get Michelle Obama up in the office. Then she a lawyer.
Michelle said no.
She got a husband who been in the office for 8 years. So what?
Michelle already said her opinion on that after having rode the side in the passenger seat for that. She knows exactly what she don't want, and it's that.
So
I can't get mad at her.
The only change is going to be Kamala Harris at this point.
No, it ain't, because she ain't doing nothing now.
Yeah, she's not really, and
she ain't doing nothing now. She following suit right behind. That's why I understand why people vote this fool up here. He look.
First
I have
of all,
a very unpopular opinion when it comes to Barack Obama. Very unpopular opinion, and I don't care. But all I'm saying is the same amount of shit that he got done for black people. What you think Joe Biden gonna do?
Right.
Just the bare minimum. Y'all happy about a freaking holiday? Really? That's all that it matters? That's all that it's gonna take?
But listen, that's what they do because they know that that's all it takes to placate black people.
That's what I'm saying. That's terrible. We got to demand more.
Everybody else gets their money.
Everybody
else gets their money. The Jews got their money. And I'm not anti-Semitic. I'm just stating facts. If you go and look this up, Jewish people got reparations for the Holocaust.
And
black people do not have the same priorities. We will not have any cohesiveness on that. And have not in years.
Wealth. That's why it has to be a generational wealth reform it. That's why the reparation has to dwindle between the bloodline, not just right here and now, because I'm not finna go and see everybody up at the Cadillac dealership and going to see everybody getting grills and thinking the shit is cool. No, that's what they gave out these stimulus checks for.
Well, I hate to tell you, I have 4 of the TikTok generation in my family between the ages of 18 and 22, and what we're coming up on young black on young black people and what they think of the political spirit of the political status is they basically apathetic to the point of who gives a fuck. That's it.
This next generation, I don't give a fuck kids is really going to be the ones to turn it because I don't think they're going to fuck us up. I think that what's going to happen eventually, and it's going to take a minute because they got to have kids too. It's not going to be in our lifetime, but the I don't give a fuck generation is going to give birth to the, well, we going to do something now generation. because their kids are going to sit around and go, well, the generation before you didn't do nothing. So that made your generation not want to give a fuck. So it's up to our generation to just come back and turn this shit around. It's going to take 2 or 3 generations. It ain't going to be us. It ain't going to be our
Because a boy from Generation X, he said he's running for Congress. I was like, uh-oh.
Yeah,
you said a boy from Gen X, man. I'm Gen X and I'm 50. What is you talking about?
That's what I'm about to say. How old is this person?
He was like, he wants to run for Congress. I'm like, dude, you should
our grandkids have to be the rebirth of the baby boomer era.
Baby boomers were the people who came before my mama.
Right before Gener X.
No, that's what I'm saying. 1940, it was the generation of 1938 to 1960. I think they said 1961. They considered them late and early baby boomers.
Yeah, those are your boomers.
Yeah. That's the generation that is going to be our grandkids. Them the ones that did something that actually changed.
They came out of wars. That's why they came out of world wars and Great Depressions and all kind of shit. So yeah, they had a fire under them. See, one of the problems is that apathy is really easy to have because let's be honest, since the late 70s up to now, it's been, despite social injustice and all the other issues we've had, there have not been any severe causes or severe upheavals that have made a whole generation stand up, take notice, and say something got to change.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to put it like that, but that's really part of what the problem is. Because I ain't even gonna lie, especially these new churn, as they call, and that's what I call these Gen Z children at this point.
Do y'all remember what year the Spanish flu happened?
I thought that was 1923? Let me see.
No, that was 1914 to
1919, I thought it was.
Yeah.
Okay, after 1919, then it was the market crash, right? Then after the market crash, it was the Great Depression. After the Great Depression, it's all these wars. If this shit is not re-happening all over again, I don't know what is. This COVID just happened. Then it's all this recession stuff. Everything going up. Everything is out of our reach. It's just gonna be just $18 a gallon for gas. You know, it's just going crazy. After all this happened, then they threaten wars. North Korea is always at the verge of throwing bombs in the water and just letting everybody just go all to hell.
And can they leave North Korea alone? Because really, at the end of the day, they not worse than we are.
No, they're not. They absolutely aren't. They just on that side and we on this side.
Right.
All right. Technically, that's the thing. Part of the myth, and yes, it's a damn myth of American exceptionalism is creating this idea that these other far off countries are so much worse than we are. We are so much better than that. It's bullshit.
That's because you can't leave those countries. So you'll easily believe that if you can't travel the world, if you've never traveled the world, you will believe 100% the propaganda that the United States puts out about the stuff that is the greatest country in the world, because it's not. You know why? Because I can go to fucking China and at least my government in China is going to pay for my medicine. At least my government in fucking Mexico is not trying to ring me over some damn insulin. You can go to Mexico for what it costs for. My friend had gastric bypass and it was going to cost her several hundreds of thousands of dollars to do it in the United States. She went to Mexico and had change left over. She went to Mexico and stayed there and recuperated for a whole week for the same price they wanted her to pay to have the surgery done in the States. And she was going to be laid up for the same amount of time, but she was going to spend 3 times the money. And she said, nope, my husband and I went to Mexico. I had my surgery. And then we sat, after I was cleared to go out, we went and sat on the beach and we had a great time. But they'll tell you, oh, you don't want to go to Mexico for care because, you know, it's so dirty down there. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and
Oh, please. What bullshit.
That's what they say about Africa. If you believe what they put out, the propaganda about Africa, everybody live in dirty huts, and everybody starving, and famine is rapid,
That
and
is
everybody got
not what
AIDS.
Africa is. That is not Africa. That's
And,
propaganda. You're right about that.
Yeah, I know. And you know, everybody walking around with AIDS. So it's terrible. It's terrible how they will boost this country up and tear down other people's. And this country is far worse, if you ask me, as far as how they treat their citizens.
It's far worse, period, girl. And you're right, it is because of how they treat their citizens. Because once you get the internet was a wonderful thing. Now you can go out here and really research stuff, and read all the great books and the encyclopedias, the stuff that we didn't have access to. And now you see the difference. You know, they told you the whole time, America is great. There's no place on earth like it. You got all these freedoms here. No, you only have the freedoms that your government allows. We don't
allows you to have.
And if you're black, you really don't have any freedoms. You have freedoms on paper because by God, they're not going to just snatch you off the streets. Yes, they will. They will still just snatch you off the streets. We'll be disappeared. So we are free on paper.
And that's exactly it.
And then
you know what I always wondered? I always wonder in other countries. You know how in this country they got those little late night ads from WWF with the panda on it, and this animal is this year's animal that's going extinct is tigers. Yeah. I wonder if in other countries they got the same thing going, that these people are getting extinct in America right now, black people. I wonder if they got that stuff going on over there.
You make me want to sit down and write a script and shoot a film this weekend. That right there just gave me an idea for a short story. Did you guys, you said that, and I'm going to tell you something. Yes, they are doing something like that. I found this, I'm going to find this video and I'm going to play it for y'all. They have videos like the Chinese for the United States, where they're talking about how fucking horrible things are.
Propaganda. Oh yeah, the Chinese, they swing it, and they sling it with style.
But this wasn't made by Chinese people. These ads were not made by China. These ads were made by another company, and they're using other countries. You know how like Ken was just saying, the U.S. always does these ads about this animal is about to go extinct. These little poor little black babies covered in flies are starving to death because they so poor in Africa. Well, they have these other countries like that, like fucking Germans for the U.S. And the man is outside with a little boy looking like he ain't ate, little white boy with blonde hair. Things in the United States is so bad. Little Timmy here don't eat. We need to be collecting funds so we can save America. I'm gonna find.
I always wanted that. I always wanted that because it's just.
I know if these people in these other countries is giving up money for that, I don't know what to say.
It's just so funny because why would I give you 25 cents a day to feed a family of 12 in Romania, and my best friend family can't eat a meal on Wednesdays? They have to sacrifice a meal a week because the stamps don't last, or because it's not enough food in the house to feed everybody. It's 16 people in the house because that's how many people it takes to pay the rent. It's shit happening here. Why the hell are you showing me what's going on in other countries? I want to know what's going on down the street. Let me shut up. I'm finna mute myself. I need a glass of wine.
I can't remember how to search for this commercial. I know I have it saved somewhere because when they came out, there's 3 of them. When they came out, I was like, ain't this some shit? Let me see if I saved them on my Facebook. I can't wait till y'all see this. I'm going to mute myself because I'm searching for this.
But darling, that stuff that you was talking about, I seen it about 2 weeks ago. That Chinese government pushing out videos with to keep Africans from coming to China with these little kids singing songs saying, oh, don't come to China, don't go to China, stay in Africa because it's better where you are than coming here.
Well, that's the thing. Part of the thing about Asian culture, and the one thing is the only reason I know this is because of Chew. I have a friend she lives in Michigan now. But I went to high school with this girl named we always used to call her Chewy. Chewy is Chewy. She's half Asian. Half Asian, half black. So technically she's what they call Blasian.
Yeah.
And what she always explained to me, and that I didn't understand in high school, but I understood by the time I got to college. She's like, one of the things you got to understand, she's like, first of all, she's like, I have grandparents on my mother's side that I know of, but I have never met, because they do not accept the fact who their daughter married or who their daughter chose to have children with here in America. Okay, right. That was not part of the plan. That was not why they sent her to school here. So they were not pleased with the choices she decided to make. She said, and the thing is, she basically broke it down as to say, when you have a homogeneous culture like you have in Asian countries, she's like, it doesn't matter which country it is. It could be Japan, it could be China, it could be Thailand. She's like, it could be North or South Korea. She's like, it doesn't matter. Those countries, she explained, she's like, the propaganda about Black people in those countries is that they think all that shit they see on TV is the truth about Black people.
Yeah.
Okay, they think all of the Black superstar female singers are Beyonce. They think that all of the truly exceptional basketball players are Kobe Bryant. That's how they see that stuff. That's how they look at it. And so when they meet Black people in real life, she said, all they know is to go off of stereotypes, and that's it. She's like, what's even worse, she's like, a lot of people like Asian culture. She's like, I'm gonna be honest. She's like, no matter what kind of culture it is, she's like, there's a lot to like about it. She's like, but the thing is, the very culture that you like would not be welcome to you as a Black person. She's like, I'm half Korean, and it's not welcome to me because I'm half Black. And the thing is, she's right. They have such a homogeneous culture there, because the bottom line is, no matter what you say, everybody who is Japanese, they look Japanese. Everybody who's Korean, they look Korean. Everybody who's Chinese, they look Chinese. Even though they have so many ethnic groups that actually make up China, it's not even funny.
Yeah, it's really crazy.
Yeah, I mean, but hey, they even have their own issues over there where they're racist against their own damn people because you're not the right ethnic
group.
Are you
from the city or are you from the country? What? Are you from the valleys or are you from the what? Yes, I heard.
Exactly. Yeah. So the thing is, she's like, the thing is, those societies are closed societies. She's like, socially speaking, they're closed. Yeah, they'll deal with people for business and for stuff like that, because your money's your money. That is what it is. Yeah. She's like, but socially, those are America is. They don't just call America a melting pot because it's a melting pot. It's because you don't go to any particular part of this country and say everybody who's there looks like this. She's like, that's what it's like over there.
Yeah.
You look like this, you look like that, and it's not open to people of color. She's like, those countries don't. She's like, I mean, they don't look at it as racism. She's like, you would never get them to admit that they're racist. She's like, but it is. She's like, it's 100% is, and she's right. So no, they're not welcoming to people of color, whether they Black people from America or definitely not Black people from Africa.
Yeah, I found those commercial guys, and there are 3 of them. So
are you gonna share it?
I'm gonna share it. So there's one for China, one for Slovenia, and one for Germany. What country y'all want to start in?
Slovenia.
Let's go with Slovenia. I don't know jack shit about that country, so let's start with something new.
That's why I said it.
Always learning something new.
Go to Slovenia. Y'all fixing to lose your shits.
Oh God.
Here we go. I'll play it.
I'll line together.
V Združenih državah Amerike je vsak 5. otrok lačen. Milijoni otrok se težko učijo, ker nimajo dovolj hrane. če so otroci prihodnost naroda? Kakšno prihodnost imajo Združene države, če njeni otroci nimajo dovolj hrane za uspešno življenje? Amerika danes potrebuje našo pomoč.
Get the fuck out of here.
Girl, my ass.
Get the fuck out of here.
Fucking ridiculous.
I want to go next. China and Germany.
Let's go to China. Let's go to China, girl. Let's go to the Far East. Let's see what they got to say.
Okay, we're gonna come on.
And I got comments to pass after all these videos, child.
Hold on, let's go to China because I think
I knew it. I knew it had to be happening.
I want to go to China.
美国，这个全球最富裕的国家之一，仍面临着饥饿的困扰。在这个国家，尽管食品供应过剩，却仍有4900万美国人在挨饿。
Showing all processed foods and stuff.
That's the sign that don't say grits and bacon.
Yep. A little white boy.
They got the whitest little white boy they could find too.
Mm-hmm.
Girl,
Let's help America.
Let's help America. They starving.
Wow.
Let's go and wrap it up with Germany. You know, the motherland. That's where the Nazis really came from. But you know, they feeling a little bit for us too.
Sie hat nur wenig Zugang zu nahrhaften Lebensmitteln. Ihre schlechte Ernährung kann zu Diabetes, Herzkrankheiten und einer teuren Abhängigkeit vom Staat führen. 49 Millionen Amerikaner leiden unter Lebensmittelunsicherheit. Sie sind hungrig nach mehr als nach der nächsten Mahlzeit. Sie sind hungrig nach einem Wechsel. Amerika braucht unsere Hilfe. Jetzt.
Oh, y'all, the first time I saw these commercials, I laughed so hard, I think I break my throat. Y'all are
ridiculous.
The greatest country in the world, and China of all places.
I'll be damned.
Talking about we got
First of all, the fact that China even made that commercial is wait, what is this? What is that? What was that organization called? Great Nations what?
Nations Eat. Great Nations Eat.
Great Nations
Eat.
Okay, so this Great Nations Eat shit. First of all, how you got a country like China doing or saying that it's China? I don't even know if those people have the endorsement of the Chinese government to do that. Because here's the thing that a lot of Americans who don't know anything about foreign history realize. China actually has had famines in the last 100 years. They've had great famines. They had a famine in the 50s. So basically, you had whole generations at my mother's age where people actually died of hunger because they had such a outdated and crazy ass system where they had to give up so much of what they actually grew in their provinces to the damn government that people starved to death. So you trying to tell me y'all got a country out here who had a damn famine in the 50s talking about yeah, we got to feed America.
Now hold up. So you got all that out. These ads were made by a company here in the United States.
Okay, I was about to fall out on the floor.
No, so what they did was they found people from these other countries, actors, what have you, to set up these commercials. I don't know if they were trying to show the hypocrisy. I think this is a legitimate company though. They did a couple of these commercials and I don't even understand. Like it's not parody.
No, I Googled them and they said Great Nations Eat is a not-for-profit organization committed to combating hunger in American households. Here's the thing. You want to combat hunger in America, then you do what they did in France. France passed a law like in 2015 or 16 that makes it illegal for huge supermarket chains to just throw away food that they can no longer sell. They actually have to donate that shit.
France is my second choice because they really take care of their people in France.
Yeah, they do.
They really take care of their people.
Well, let's say the people on the mainland, because the people in the outlying lands and of the Caribbean and particularly not so much.
Well, they have the same problem as as all the other colonizers. Come on now.
That's a colony issue, but we talking about being back at home in France on that
Right.
country. Honey, that you go to work over there and your work week is 36 hours. Your boss can't say shit to you on Friday and on Friday, Saturday.
Oh God, that reminds me of my first job where I actually, well, technically it wasn't a job, technically it was an unpaid internship, but it was good for the summer. They actually had some French people with two guys from France who were working in that same office building. And it was so interesting to find out that how people in foreign countries deal with lunch differently from how we are these days. You're lucky if you get an hour for lunch these days. These days, you're either getting a half-hour lunch, because a lot of people get half-hour lunches, or people just get, or they still get the actual hour that's for lunch. Man, when they explained to them Frenchmen that lunch was an hour, because it was back then, they were like, "Wait, what do you mean an hour?"
That's it.
I think a bit there won't be no hour. An hour? How you gonna tell me?
Exactly. They was like, "Well, wait, what you mean an hour?" Because the thing is, what the French do, apparently, from what they confirmed, they were like, "No, you can go home for like lunch.
Right?
Like you go home, the kids go home, everybody goes home and has lunch together."
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they come back and then they leave shortly after that. Yeah.
But see, I learned about that when I was a child.
Me too, I did.
That is why they think that Mexicans are lazy, because they take siestas in the middle of the day. Almost every country except for the United States has a history of their workers taking midday breaks to take a break. You can go home, do whatever you want, take a nap. That's what the siesta is. And then you come back to work after an hour or two and you finish your job.
Do you know China implement that even in their schooling? They make them take midday breaks, and it has to include naps.
Yes, because
do you know that they have them in naps? They give them 2 different types of lunches, and they require them to be in a regiment like they are at home. It has to be at work in the same flow.
Yes, because those people are different from us. The United States, I don't know why this country is like this, but the United States will tell you that if you're not just about to have a heart attack at your desk at work, that you're not a good worker, you're not a dedicated, committed worker. Oh, you need to take a lunch break. You lazy. Why can't you just work through lunch? You can eat at your desk. And these other countries are not like that at all. Something else that I notice about the United States is the United States is a coupon country. Everything in this country is couponable. And what I mean by that, or they expect you to sustain yourself on coupons. What I mean is they have the ability to lower prices for medicines. But what will they do? They will put out apps like Good RX so you can go to this coupon so you can survive. Or they'll tell you to contact the maker of the drug for special coupons and deals. Why do I gotta have a fucking coupon? You set the price. Why can't you just make it this lower price? If you're gonna send me a $20 coupon, that tells me that you can afford to lower this medication by $20 anyway.
Yeah.
That $20 ain't shit but gravy, because you will accept this piece of paper and the coupon tells you right on the face that the coupon has no value. Coupons have no value, but you can trade that coupon in and they'll subtract $20 off of however much
Man, you can't even go to Burger King and do some shit like that.
No.
Unless you got a coupon online app, you sign on the online thing, they give you coupons like that. They Bubbles,
but
right? They give coupons every damn time.
But that's the thing. But you actually have to have the coupon for it to work.
Yeah.
For stuff like GoodRx and all that, for pharmaceuticals, for drugs, it's very obvious you don't need the coupon to get that. They could make it low. Bubbles is right. They don't actually need that little wordless coupon to do shit. They just choose not to make the price lower.
Yeah, but I know what you were asking or Bubbles about why this country like that is because when we're born with a number, and that's our social security number and our birth certificate numbers. We are born workers.
Those are not social security numbers for I've been telling people for a while now that those are your tracking numbers.
Yes.
Because no matter where you go in life, no matter what you try to do, even if they'll ask you for the last 4 digits of your social security number before they give you the key at the gas station for the bathroom. They track everything you do. If you kill somebody, you track by that number. You take out a loan, you track by that number. They want to know about your
name.
That's your register. That the government is registering the warranty on its property when you are issued a social security number, because you are more than just a worker. You are a commodity. Even if you do not work,
that's what the birth certificate is for. Proof of your commodity.
That's the proof of your warranty. That's your receipt for your warranty on your warranty. You gotta have that receipt, then they get you your warranty set up, and then for the rest of your life, whatever you do, you gotta use that registration, your serial number. You gotta use that. It don't matter what you do. You can't go nowhere without one. I used to tell people how they could fake them, but apparently you get in trouble for that. So I can't tell people how to do that no more.
Well, I can say that at least that one, and the fact that we have so many things that are effed up in this country that other people in other countries have to deal with. The registration number issue, everybody wants to track their property because at least most countries have some sort of registration system where they they want to track their population.
Yeah. And that's how they do it. But over here, it almost feels like it's a negative thing to have a social security number. It almost feels very negative.
Well, the way that they've set up social security numbers now is that you cannot participate in this society without one.
You sure can't.
Okay, you will be blocked from everything, even though you will be blocked from being able to get loans, even though credit.
It's on the mantle. I'm sorry, y'all.
Oh, it's okay. Even though credit scores didn't exist until like the late 60s or something.
Yeah, I think it was the early 70s, late 60s, like you're saying. Yeah.
Right. Credit scores didn't even freaking exist back then.
They didn't have no credit. They didn't have those the 3 credit companies, Treasury Union, Experian, and Equifax. They didn't run around in.
No. So before when you got loans and your credit worthiness, that wasn't whatever they was using to calculate. They was using your damn paycheck. Okay, that was pretty much it. They didn't have things like credit scores. These days, if you don't have the bare minimum of a credit score, which is one of the reasons you need a social security number, then you don't qualify for anything. You can't do anything. You can't get a job because, first of all, nobody don't pay in cash these days. Not legal anyway. Not unless you washing dishes somewhere, some really small rinky-dink business where they don't mind paying you under the table. But you have too many things that you cannot participate in this country if you do not have a social security number. So having one, I happen to have experience with some people who accidentally get 2 social security numbers, which does happen more often. Not as much these days, I don't think.
Yeah, my mom used to have 2 of them and this was back in the 80s. She was given one when she was born. When she was born, she had her own. But once in the 80s, if you got married, they used to give you a whole new social security number once you changed your name from your maiden name to your married name.
And that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it don't make any sense now, but back then it made sense to the U.S. government. And she still used it, both her social security numbers.
Get that double credit. I will make one. Equifax is older than Experian and TransUnion. TransUnion got started in the 60s. Experian got started in the 90s. It's the baby. Equifax has been around since 1899. It was the first retail credit company. They was out there riding the Pony Express and all that shit with the Sears catalog. That's where it really started with getting credit, was with them people. And then it just kind of grew into this whole other thing. Yeah. But Equifax is the granddaddy. They ain't never going nowhere. Experian and TransUnion, I don't even know how they got to be in the same, I guess because it's only 3 of them. But Equifax is the only one that I pay attention to. TransUnion, I'm like, okay, but what Equifax say? Like Equifax for me is the granddaddy. I'll look at them numbers.
I ain't gonna lie, experience ain't really worth shit. Most companies that are looking for something, they're either going to go with TransUnion or Equifax.
Yeah,
They ain't worried about experience.
It seemed like my Equifax is always lower than my TransUnion. I don't understand how come they always got different scores if they do the same shit.
Because they weight shit differently.
That's what I said. Y'all do the same thing. And my information is no different between the two. So why is your point system not standardized?
Yeah, it's all seem like it's rigged.
It is.
It is.
Everything in this fucking country is made up, including the language. All this stuff is fucking smoke and mirrors, and that's why I brought up the coupons, because it's everything. It's everywhere. Like I feel like I get hit in the face with stuff that I shouldn't be. Why are y'all marketing medicines to me? Well, you need to go if you suffer from this, go ask your doctor about this medicine. The United States is the only country that pushes pharmaceuticals on its citizens.
Yep.
Commercials, they'll tell you, but don't take it if you're allergic to XYZ. Well, how do I know if I'm allergic to this fucking drug I never had before? You just said it was new. And you
all of them can cause death.
Death.
And death and bleeding rectal cavities.
Not to mention that the drug rep game has completely made the entire system of selling pharmaceuticals to the public a money making, profit making, where you have doctors putting people on shit that they never would have because the drug reps are giving them a nice little sweet kickback for it.
Say that again, darling. That's why it's been so many cesarean C-sections done to women, because all these doctors get kickbacks for women who have C-sections rather than natural births.
But you know what? Sometimes they kill women in natural birth, especially us. So if you don't keep me alive, and that means you got to open up my body cavity, just put me back together, right?
I wasn't gonna get no natural birth. My doctor told me from the for a second appointment. My first appointment, I was told how many weeks I was. My second appointment, measured baby, and how he was. He got a little bit bigger. So then she told me, because of the size of my uterus, I look like I may have to have a C-section. And because I'm high, I was already high risk because I'm overweight and my age. I'm geriatric. At 35, I was a geriatric. So 9 times out of 10, I was going to have a C-section. So when my son would not flip in my heart-shaped uterus, yes, honey, you are going to have a C-section. Ain't no way you're going to push him out of no cavity. Yeah. So my birthing plan was told me my second appointment. I ain't had no choice.
Well, here's the thing. Black women, there's numbers that they use to calculate the birthing numbers or the birthing rates and all of that. And Black women's numbers are lower. So there's a bias. But if you had been a white woman, your numbers would have been higher, and they wouldn't have suggested a cesarean for you, even at 35.
Yep. You're right.
I think that's geriatric anyway, because we have to, it's not saying that you're old, but it's saying that based on the way women's bodies are set up, you are on the down end, because Think about it. Most women start having their periods when they're 12, 13, 14 years old. So your body is baby prime
over the hill.
You're ready. You prime at 13. By 30, you middle age. That's
I'm over the hill. I'm ready to go to retirement home.
Right. So you're talking about 30 and beyond, girl. You lucky that baby come out okay because your system has been making and producing and sloughing eggs already for 20 some years. Your body been putting in that work for 20 plus years. And they don't look at men the same way because they don't have a cutoff point. We have an expiration date. So once our body runs out of eggs, you done. But them Petey birds and them sacks don't never run out of sperm.
Till they in the grave. Until they in the grave.
Right. So you can have some 90-year-old man out here being Nick Cannon and popping up babies.
Baby. You better say that.
And so that's why I don't understand why the reproduction responsibility was never on the men, because y'all are fertile from the minute your balls drop until the day they drop you in the ground. You can be 100 years old and you can still squeeze out at least 5 little swimmers that one of them gonna make it. It might not be but 5, but one of them is gonna hold out and make it for your ass. Whereas women, we can be 30 years old and now your doctor talking about you need fertility treatment.
You premenopausal.
Early menopause. Girl, you ain't gonna never have no babies. Just go on the doc because your shit don't even work right. It don't even like you. So
and you can come up off, and you can get to come up off for $10,000 plus if you're lucky, if you can get it on the cheap for fertility treatments to try to make sure you can have a baby.
Well, now you can't do that anymore.
You can choose the sex of the baby, everything.
Yeah, but they overturned Roe versus Wade, so a lot of people's fertility options are out because if you're doing IVF, and
you're doing it with more than one egg. And the problem is you have all these ignorant ass people that make me sick that say, well, that's not what they meant. I'm like, it doesn't matter what they meant. That's what they wrote. That's like in that's like in my raggedy ass state. For the second time in as many weeks, the abortion ban has been more or less blocked by a judge who is saying that the stupid ass law the legislature passed back in like 2006, where if as a trigger law, if Roe v. Wade got overturned, cannot be implemented properly because it is too conflicting. You have a legal document up here written by people and signed by people who aren't doctors, who do not understand that fertilization and implantation are not the same thing, but they talk about it like it's the same thing in the damn law.
Right.
These people talking about well, that's not what they meant. They didn't mean it like this. They didn't that's not what they intended it for it to be, but that's what you wrote. That's how it's gonna go.
And then says something like that's not what they meant. It's so juvenile. Like, excuse me, he did not step on my new Jordans on accident. Fool. He didn't change he done rewrote history. It don't matter whether he meant it or not. It's what happened. So now that's what happened, what are you gonna do about it? Y'all done separated state and country, state and church.
Oh no, they put it together. They
said, now, but that's what I'm saying. Now it's all one big pot again. Like
we up here about to live through a theocracy.
Sure,
that's where we at.
Handmaid's Tales.
But here's the thing. Like somebody said, at least in the Handmaid's Tale, they got their health care paid for. They won't even do that here.
Sure ain't.
They ain't concerned about that. They just want people to pop out babies because the same babies that they don't want to pay for. But it's not even about the kids. It's about control. It's about being able. It's about being able to
generate the damn white population.
Well, the part that's gonna crack me up is that the funny part, not funny, but funny, ironic, is that those people are the ones who are definitely gonna find a way to get themselves their abortions if they want.
At the end of the day, they're gonna be lined up in Spanish Harlem, bleeding out in these hallways again.
Spanish Harlem.
Yes, honey.
Not Spanish Harlem. Not Spanish Harlem.
Lined all up again in Spanish Harlem with they butlers and stuff downstairs waiting on them, and they're gonna be up in them stairwells again, bleeding out.
But here's the thing, you know, the rich people will be able to do whatever because they have the money. So they're not going to be bleeding out in back alleys. They're going to simply take a little trip to the islands. We're going to go to Europe this weekend, a little sun, lay on the beach, you know, scrape the baby from my womb, and then just come back and just live life again. That's
And
what
just
they're going to do.
go
That's what they've
on
always
the
done.
and could just go on the French Riviera, the next day and have
Right.
tea and crumpets.
I'm going to go and completely recover on the Côte d'Azur with a lovely bottle of Douce and a chaser of Ace and a cabana boy named Enrique.
Feed me my vitamins.
Careful,
Feeding me my supplements and vitamins.
right. I don't want to have to take a second trip. Be good, Enrique. That's what they
Oh my
do.
God, Bubbles.
They
But
big
that's exactly what it's going. That shit
The
ain't wrong. That's how that
snot
bullshit would play out.
They
Yep.
been going over to the continent getting their abortions and coming back like, oh,
But-
we just took a ski trip. We were in Switzerland. It was
But
amazing.
But see, that's not who the abortion clinics were helping. They was helping these poor white trash girls who are in these trailer parks and that can't have proper health care. So they go to these Planned Parenthoods. That's who be up in these Planned Parenthoods. These Ambers and these Big Bertha girls, they be up in there.
Yeah.
And they can't afford to go outside of county cares.
This is supposed to stop poor whites and minorities from being able to have these things because first off, they're going to reproduce with whomever. 9 times out of 10, if they're supremacists, it's already a wash. They're going to reproduce with white people, but they are trying to stop the poor white girls from experiencing their jungle fever, you see, and having their little town
mixed race babies.
You're having these babies that aren't even white anymore. You're having these little muggle babies, these little mudbloods. That's what it was, mudbloods. You're having these little mud-blooded babies. They're trying to keep the race pure. If you can't go and have an abortion, you're going to have to push that baby out, whether it's white, mixed, black, or whatever. But that's always been the thing to keep the poor and to keep you on the government. They don't want you to be on the government dole. They will shame you for getting food stamps.
Yeah. And they will shame you for not being able to take care of your baby.
Right, but that's the exact position that they're putting you in to be on the government. If I can't get rid of a child that I can't afford, and you can say, oh, well, there's always adoption. You know what? I would rather this woman have an abortion than for her to have a baby that gets put in the system that somebody's going to adopt and abuse. I do not, and I'm going to lose some followers. It's 8:54. I don't care. We got 5 minutes to go. I'm going to say what I'm going to say. I've never trusted non-colored people adopting colored children. That's the easiest way I can say that to maybe not step on nobody's toes. Y'all know what I'm saying. I have never trusted non-colored people who go out and adopt colored babies, Mexicans, Black, Chinese, and
Indians, Pakistanians, Moroccans. I get it. I get it.
You out here rescuing these poor little babies from poverty. But then what do? Bring them home and drive them off a cliff?
Bring them home and put them in the back room and let them be hidden and turn them into indentured service or baby making machines or whatever. Whatever. It's some sinister people out here that do that. Those things.
They are. I'll be very honest. I certainly don't trust. I side eye Amy Coney Barrett ass and those 2 black children that she adopted, and I'd be like,
Did she adopt them or did she steal them? I don't trust those. I do not trust those people with black children.
I just don't understand.
I don't disagree with
why
you on that one. Not with her.
It's because you hear and you see so much of the negative of it, and we've been exposed to so much of the harm. That's why you don't hear too much, you don't see too much success stories to believe them. And I just worry. I just worry about kids in the system, period. It don't matter what
The
kind.
system is a rough place.
Yeah,
And I mean, and the lucky kids are the ones who manage to age out. I
age
can't even
out and be well developed mentally. Yes.
shoot.
And
I
so
can't even. I mean, some kids some kids will tell you, I honestly was better off not being adopted.
yeah,
Mhm.
just leave me in the system and I'll bounce from house to house and hopefully I'll have some great foster
And run
parents.
away. They run away.
You know,
That's
instead
why a
of
lot of kids are runaways too.
yeah, because they are abused. They get adopted or fostered or whatever by abusive people. But it really breaks my heart because I know the people who don't have melanin are not. At the end of the day, I don't feel like they really care. You know, I think it's like an accessory so they can say, "Look, I can't be prejudiced. I went and bought a black kid."
And
And you're
I
supposed to feel good about it. Oh, because you picked one up on your church mission. Oh, we went to Africa and I had to bring this little kid.
oh, not the church mission.
Yeah, the church mission.
Not the church mission. Not from not the Latter-day Saints going and shopping for kids.
All of the
And
missionaries, honey, all of them out there shopping for kids like they fucking something they picked up at the airport. Look, I brought you back a treat.
souvenir.
Little 5-year-old Meritution.
Somehow I don't believe that was the purpose that a mission to another country was supposed to be. I thought it was
Is legalized sex trading, sex slaves, and child snatching.
Yep, they are trafficking children for sex and slavery.
Yes.
You going over here talking about you going to spread somebody's fucking gospel? Do you know it's 2022? Everybody know that shit exists. They don't want it. They didn't invite
exactly.
you.
And if they don't want it, well, hell, they don't want it. Learn to let go. Shit.
Oh, but
everybody don't have to be like you. Everybody don't have to accept what you accept.
But they have to know Jesus, darling. We can't leave these poor reprobated sinners here not knowing white Jesus. So
God save us from a Christian denomination.
That's how a lot of countries have gotten colonized.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they start colonizing countries off of faith.
Was the key to colonization. It opened the doors. They went is talking about this fucking mythical ass creature asked and laid dead for 3 days after that and hung you in the sun, starving, beating your ass. You gonna come back for what? No, but they gonna tell you that that's what you need to believe in is these zombie mental tricks. The fuck you do. You already have your gods over there. Why do I need to trade my gods for your white God? Why? Like, I will never, like, that was the biggest turning point for me. I cannot be one of them people and believe that shit because I know where that came from. That came because one of my ancestors got that shit beat into them. Somebody beat my ancestor to the point where they were like, fuck it. Okay, whatever you want me to believe, I'm going to believe it. And I'm going to teach that to my family because I don't want my kids to get beat like this. So y'all listen. If they ask y'all about this fucking blonde hair, blue-eyed hippie out here sleeping with 12 men in the desert, just tell them that you fucking believe that shit. Stockholm syndrome set in and we adopted that because, well, as long as we believe this, we're not going to get beat. They're not going to throw us in the hot box. They're not going to take my baby and hang him from a tree because he's still practicing what we knew where we came from. But you want me to believe in this fucking Jesus clown over here. But your Bible, you telling me that I don't have a soul to be saved, then what the fuck is I'm gonna believe in this shit? Oh, that's right. Because if I believe in it, you're not gonna hit me. Okay, bet. I believe what the fuck you want me to believe if you gonna stop hitting me. But then that survival tactic turned into a belief system, and that's why we are still fucked up in 2022 because people are waiting on some emaciated looking white man to come and fucking save them from some shit that they have the power to save themselves from right in this very moment. Let it go. We ain't got to, you know what? We would never have to worry about separation of church and state if we made people let go of these myths. Let it
See,
go.
but that's
Not do
okay.
it.
I'm gonna disagree on with you on that, Bubbles. My thing about faith is this: nobody can push their faith off on other people, and nobody can make somebody else walk in their faith. Either it's your faith or it's not.
But here's
That's where the main problem is in this country, is this dictatorship that they have, that the people who are in charge, their faith is the only faith. That's not the only faith. Everybody, they got billions of people walking around on this planet who ain't gave Jesus a second look, and they're walking in whatever their faith is, and they're perfectly damn fine with that.
But
That's
that's it. But what I'm saying is that's already been set up, because you believe because somebody taught you, and they believe because somebody taught them, and they believe because somebody taught them. When you go far enough back into what somebody taught you, because you weren't born believing this, you were taught to believe this.
No, but there are two times in your life where you find faith. I'm gonna put it to you like that, because I know you're an atheist and I respect that. That's fine. But there are two times when you find faith in your life. There's the faith that you are taught with, and then there's the faith that you have to find yourself when you are an adult and you can make decisions for yourself. Those are two completely different types of faith. The faith that kept you in Sunday school, that was the faith that your parents taught you. But just like they have just as they have as many people who still go to church in adulthood because they have found their faith to walk with it and they're comfortable with it, there are just as many people who walk away from it because they don't believe the faith. When they come to adulthood, they look at what they've been presented and they don't walk in faith with it because they don't believe, nor should they. If you don't believe, you don't believe. That is fine. But just as they have as many people who walk away from it, you have just as many people who walk to it. But it's both those people are making the choices for themselves as adults. So I don't really count religion. I don't really count religion below a certain age, because that is something that your parents are introducing you to, because that is what they do. But you have to find your faith as an adult to know that it's the faith that you're finding for yourself, not the faith that you were taught.
And I get that. And I took many beatings as a child because I told my mama when I was little, this is a bunch of bullshit. So I would have been the slave that actually I was the slave who accepted the bullshit to keep from getting beat, because I was fighting with my Sunday school teacher when I was 8. Bitch, we just read this shit. What the fuck is you talking about? We read this shit. You gonna tell me that the Pharaoh looking for baby Jesus because he's killing all the kids. That's why he's looking for all the male babies.
Hey y'all, it's 9:03.
I know it's not. Same here, because we done gone over.
You don't sit here and tell me after we done read this little fucking coloring book with these nasty ass stickers that we got to look and put these pictures in. That you trying to send somebody a gift, but you just told us he killing all the babies. Make it make sense, ma'am. And she's looking at me like, well, no, he was trying to give the baby Jesus a present. Bitch, read page 5. The Pharaoh was killing all the babies in the land. And he sent these 3 men to go look for this baby boy king that was threatening his throne because he was killing all the babies. Now you talking about he was just taking a baby shower present to Mary? Bitch, if you don't read this book, you just made us sit here and study. And then when I started asking her how come them people's colors didn't match, she got real sweated in. Ma'am,
well, look, you already know as well as I do that the Bible is a man-written book, meaning men edited that book.
No, man,
okay, that's just the facts.
You making
that ain't fall out from no mountains.
You making adult excuses. I said I was 8 years old. Do you expect an 8-year-old to understand that shit? No. And
no, but that's what I mean. That's exactly what I mean, Bubbles. You don't believe it. You don't have to believe it. And here's the thing: people have to respect that you don't believe it, because that's your prerogative as a human being. You're a living, breathing, upright person. What?
You don't have to respect my beliefs.
No, I respect. No. Not respect your beliefs. No, people have different beliefs. I respect your right to have them. Doesn't mean I agree with it. That's two different things. But I know damn well that just like you can't convince people who have the faith that your way is right. People who have the faith can't convince you that they're right, is what I mean.
But I don't have a way. Like there's
But that's the thing. You don't have to though. That's the whole thing. The whole point is, at least as far as religion is concerned, people have got to stop acting like their way is the only way and pushing it on everybody else because that's just not
that's
how it
the
is.
whole point that I'm making. Keep your shit to yourself because nobody else cares. You can go
Exactly.
and worship piles of shit in the yard if you want to. That's what you want to believe in. But I don't want to hear it. I don't give a fuck about none of this shit because I've already been there. I've been through it. I have led Bible studies and was a women's faith leader. I've been there. I've seen the mountaintop and it's made from sand. But believe what you want. That's on you. That's on you. You can believe what you want. I'm not here to change nobody's minds about anything. People believe what they want. But do not bring your fucked up belief systems into other people's lives. Do not try to make me live by some 10 commandments that you believe in. And first off, which set of 10 commandments do you believe in? Because there were 2. Which one are you going by so that we can be straight? You go by that, but don't force me or tell me that I got to live by something that was written in this book by people who were out in fields fucking goats. I'm not going to ever, read it from cover to cover. I can't. And that's with any religion.
And that's what I mean. But that's the thing. The whole point is, at least from my perspective, is that everybody needs to stop trying to force their way on other people. Right. Everybody's way is not the only way. Right. Your way is your way, my way is my way, and it is what it is.
That's true. But there's one clutch of people in this country that's forcing their shit on everybody.
Unfortunately, and they're the ones who are usually in the position to force the majority the way that they want to go. But that's all gonna come to a head one way or another, someday, somehow. Don't know if it's gonna be in our lifetime. Probably doubtful, but yeah, it is.
Kill people, to be honest. It's nothing ever changes without bloodshed. It's gonna take that. Just like that man was saying today, this shit ain't over with these elections and these people running around with their agenda. They're gonna shed blood. And that's when things will change, is when actual real blood. Them 2 or 3 cops that got their head busted up there at the Capitol building, that wasn't nothing. That wasn't no bloodshed.
That was because that entire debacle that it was not planned by people who were actually competent. So what we got was a dress rehearsal of the incompetent. The next one is not going to be anything like that.
Right, because they got video too. And they watching video too. And they studying shit too. They're going to have blood the next time. And that's when people are going to start realizing, okay, we're going to have to do more than just talking about shit. We're going to have to do more than just think about this shit. We're going to have to actually put some actual, for real, tangible action. Y'all get up off of your asses and do something real that is going to make a difference. I don't care if it's voting, driving people to the votes, tripping people that look like they might want to vote for somebody else, tripping their ass up outside so they do a Brooke Logan and break their ankle going up the stairs, whatever you do to get the work done. If you're going to be a revolutionary, hide your face, baby. Make sure that you use bandanas. And read the notes on how to be an effective activist. Don't let them get you. Don't carry your identification on you. Keep some stuff on you for the
leave your cell phone at home. Do it like you got some sense.
Right. Take those precautions, whatever it's gonna do, but do something. But don't just sit there and be an armchair court. I personally stopped giving a fuck in 2015 when I was warning people and they was laughing at me. Now that I know that I can get out of this shit, I'm escaping. If y'all want to come with me, we're going to have to forward some paperwork and go to Bermuda because you can take your whole family to Bermuda. No, Barbados. Barbados will let you bring your whole family if you want to come down there for a little bit. The other countries, you got to pay by the head.
Well, let's be honest. If I was other countries, would you want Americans there?
I sure would not.
Given what the country, given what this place is at this point, I can't say I blame them.
I would make it so hard for Americans to come into my country. Like Black Americans, I would allow, and I would give Black Americans amnesty because y'all been going through this shit for 400 years. You can have amnesty. Actually, the Dutch, in some places, are giving Black people free entry. So I might look at some of those places. But and we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. But if you can't get out, get ready, because these people have shown that they don't care. They don't care if you're the police. They don't care. Like Trump said, they ain't coming for him. We know who they're coming for. So be aware of your surroundings. I always tell my sister, be situationally aware. Learn how to feel when people are coming up behind you and are in your space. You got to know, because you just don't even know where it's going to come from. And again, I hate to sound like a conspiracy theorist, because I don't really believe in conspiracies and things of that nature, but this shit is fixing to go down. This republic is dying.
On the vine.
The death is coming very fast, and I don't even know what it's going to mean for this empire to fall.
Well, it's like this. I firmly agreed with my history teacher back in college when he said that there are certain signs that go along with the fall of a civilization. And he used to always say, you need to pay attention. This was long ago. You need to pay attention to that, because you'll be surprised that a lot of those signs are actually very prevalent in our society today. He's like, don't think he's like, I know people think it's a joke. He's like, but here's the thing: don't think that the Romans didn't think that this shit wasn't gonna happen to them eventually either. He's like, every great society that has risen and has fallen went through a period where they thought that it could never happen to them, that was never their destiny, that it would go on forever. He's like he's like, America and a lot of other third world countries are no damn different. All I know is this much. Just like just like they have it for everything else in this world, and just like you have it for a bad date, you need to have an exit strategy in every circumstance, including this one.
Honey, this shit is already on the wall. It's getting ready to slide down. I'm trying to talk my mom and my sister to come on and come with me, but I really think they think I'm joking. And once I'm on this plane, or once I done gas up this car and I'm in a whole different country, and she got to dial 18 numbers to reach me, they gonna know I'm serious. And I don't want to leave my family behind. I really don't want to.
Nobody ever does. It's because that's the thing. I mean, for a lot of us, the whole thing is that most of us are not going to be able to go anywhere if it comes to that, unless our closest ones will come with us, because you won't be able to leave them behind.
Right. And that's the only thing that is holding me up. I'm like, my mama is 64, 65. She could live for a whole nother 20 years. Do I want to be here for a whole nother 20 years holding on to, hell, by then, they'll probably have our asses back in shackles. I don't want to be here.
Very possible. Very possible.
I don't want
to. The worst of the worst of the worst comes to pass, because at this point, I'm not taking any. I'm not hedging any bets and saying that's ridiculous. That's completely impossible. That won't happen. The last 10 years have been an exercise in what will happen. So yeah, I wouldn't be so quick to say it won't.
The last 6 years, honey, has been a whole what the fuck is going on experience. We got the whole WTF experience in this past 6 years, and again, if you can't
the last 6 years have been very accelerated, but that's the thing. It was like, how do I put it? Like I said, the even though those years weren't the baddest years that we could have had, one thing that really made me kind of side-eye the world as a whole was, like I said, the mess that started about halfway through Barack Obama's 2 terms in office. Not really his first term, but by the time he got to his second term, and I firmly agree with what one of my teachers said in point blank. He said the bottom line is that he was able to sneak up in there. Those people was not. He's like the white supremacists of this country were not prepared for that. They were not prepared for their own race to vote for him. And when they realized they had turned their head far enough to let a black man in that seat, they lost their minds. And and everything's been a disaster since then.
Yep.
And I have to agree with, and I have to agree with him. He was right. He was absolutely right. He's like, as soon as that shit happened, those people fully and completely lost their minds, and they meant that they wasn't gonna be wearing them damn sheets in the dark of the night. They want them sheets out in the daylight, and that's
Yeah.
exactly what they've been working on ever since.
They came out of every crack and crevice.
Exactly, because I mean, back then, being openly racist was not what one would call socially acceptable. It was something, yeah, racism always existed, but at least in some quarters, you had to be discreet about it, or at the very least, hide it. It wasn't something that would get you elected to office. As a matter of fact, it used to be something that would, in most parts of the country, would end up in making sure you didn't get elected because it was just too non-PC and too toxic to even risk taking a chance with you if that's what was attached to your name. It's not like that anymore. And that tells you everything you need to know about how the climate and how I guess you could say, the ethics of the population in this country have changed. That the things that used to be things that would kill a political career don't do shit no more. It ain't even a flash in the pan. It's nothing.
You know, like he said, he could stand on the corner of, what was it? He could stand on Fifth Avenue and kill somebody and wouldn't nobody say nothing.
You're right. Nobody.
Like he's literally done killed the country and ain't nobody saying nothing.
When you have local offices taken over, you didn't stack the courts the way you needed to. You didn't stack Congress and the Senate the way you needed to, because the same people that you've gotten to come over to your side are the people who you've made feel like they're so important by supporting you that they've elected the people that you need to do what you need them to do. There's nobody to hold you responsible. What, public opinion? Because the court of public opinion is worthless. The court of public opinion don't mean a damn thing these days.
No, because you know why? People's opinions change. So they might hate you today and tomorrow they will love you. So if you just hold on long enough, the tide will change and people will come back around to you and your way of thinking. And then everything is fine from there on, until it's not. And that's what people don't realize. Like, they really thought that everybody was going to turn their nose up at Donald Trump and make fun of him and make him a joke. But they missed all those people out in the rural areas who felt like he did. Like, with nobody listening to them, they felt like nobody listening to them. And so they glommed on to Trump because he said the things that they have been wanting to say forever. And sometimes that's all some people wanted to be heard. And not only did he hear them, he was repeating the same things that they have been saying in the closet. He was saying it on TV. Oh, he said it on TV must be okay now. This is my candidate. He says it like it is.
Yep, they were empowered and they have stayed that way.
Yeah, because who wouldn't be? If you want somebody it's kind of how like we were with Barack. We thought finally somebody who looks like us, we got a black president, and then we didn't get no policy or change or net. Well, I don't even think Obama gave us a holiday. We really didn't get a lot out of him for what it was worth, but whatever's clever, Trevor. But the white people got something out of it because they had somebody who knew how to talk to them because that's what Trump does. Like I said, if you've read his books, you understand he might not be smart enough to know, but he's got somebody around him that's smart enough to know that you go over, or you get the stuff that don't nobody want. You get the trash land. You get that piece of trash land right there that don't nobody want right now. It's low value land. They don't care about this land. They don't want this land. It's sitting right here in the part of town don't nobody care about. Oh, but 10 years from now, 20 years down the road, they going to come and gentrify this area. Now everybody wants this little piece of land. This little piece of land right here is so fucking important. And that's how Donald Trump went after people. He went after his voters and I'm going to go out here and get this fucking land that don't nobody want. And I'm going to turn this fucking land around and make it valuable. And,
hey, and that's the thing. And that actually is the basis of real estate speculation. Buy the shit nobody don't want and hold on to it till it's valuable.
Exactly. And that's what he did. And you know, like when nobody valuing outlying rednecks with white supremacy gold, wasn't nobody valuing them, but Trump said, you know what? I see a Park Place over here in this little shitty side of Watts. I'm gonna buy this little shitty corner in Watts and I'm gonna wait. And this shit gonna be Park Place. He didn't, and he did exactly that. He getting ready to put a boardwalk because 2024 gonna be his year. People can dispute it, but I think 2024 is gonna be his year again, especially when they don't do nothing behind these hearings.
Exactly. Trying to try him in the court of my thing is all this evidence and all this proof they have, because this is proof. This isn't hearsay. This isn't gossip or anything that's unverifiable. These are the people who were deep in the Trump cabal testifying on under oath of the truth of this. So this is the truth as we know it. So if you get all this information, which should be actionable information, and you don't do nothing with it, guess what? People are like, well, hold on a second. You done went through all this trouble. You done got all this information. You done got all these people to tell you what went down, how the pig ate the cabbage, and whatever the hell else went down. And you're doing what with it? Oh, you expect me to be outraged by and go and vote some more? Well, when are you going to do something? Because I can tell you right now, that's what a good chunk of people are thinking. And that's exactly why the Gen Z generation doesn't give a shit about politics, because for them, it's like, well, bro, you got the gun, you got the weapon, you got the suspect, you got the video with audio of them doing the crime, but you still can't get a conviction. Well, what the hell is my vote gonna do?
Right. That's the point that I'm making with the apathy. They are leading everybody. You're not going to keep doing the same thing over and over again and not get no different result. That's the definition of lunacy, of insanity. You know, they get these people, especially Black women. We show up to the polls each and every time without fail. I know I just said a million times, fuck these people, I ain't voting no more, but I get my ass up and I go to these polls every time we have an election. This will be the first year that I don't vote in local elections because I moved and I didn't have enough time to learn about their candidates before the election season. I think we're voting this week for something local. I feel like I should just go and vote for the Hispanic people. Anybody that has like a Hispanic sounding name, because I know for one, they will be a minority definitely. But I don't know any of these people or their platforms. So I got to start over from scratch in this new county, because we have county mayors. I don't understand what that is. Nashville has a vice mayor, and the vice mayor has more power than the actual mayor. So I don't understand how
I guess I can kind of understand it a little bit here. I mean, we have parishes, and each parish has their own. Either you have a mayor or you have a parish president, one of the two, if you're an incorporated area. So the big metropolitan areas, they will have mayors. Like Orleans, they have a mayor over Orleans Parish. But in Jefferson Parish, we have a president. So we have an Asian lady as the president, though God knows her father used to be the chief of police over the Jefferson Parish Sheriff's Office for like 40 years. Great respect. So that's the whole thing that got her. He passed away, but that's the whole thing that got her elected. But Lord knows her ass is useless. So I understand it a little bit, because only the big metropolitan areas have parishes that have big metropolitan areas. They have mayors, but the rest of the parishes, they just have parish presidents.
Well, see, I don't even know what a county mayor does. Like we don't have a city mayor. Do we have a city mayor? Girl, I don't even know what we got. I had to go down to the town hall to register my business. I can tell you that everybody on the council is white except for the one Black lady. Our mayor, our mayor is a white lady. I took everybody's picture because I knew I wouldn't remember. We do have a mayor as a white lady, and then one of the council people is a black lady. And I thought, you know what, maybe I should get into local politics. But I don't want to be a politician because I'm too
My
blunt.
mouth.
I'm too
For
blunt.
me, yeah, for me, it's my mouth. If you're in politics, there are things you can say, and there are things that you absolutely cannot say under any circumstances.
But you know,
And that would be problematic for me.
I would just roll out like Trump and they'll be like, shit, she say what's be on her mind too. Maybe they might like me if I just come out like we fixing to fix all this shit. And if you don't want to come on this ride, just get off the train now. They
Hey,
might like me being one of them. She shoots right from the hip. You know,
hey,
they might see me as a little fledgling black Republican. We need
well,
her.
be a grassroots candidate. You knock on some doors. I mean,
Child,
people have gotten elected to city councils and shit for less, with less.
you know what? I ain't. I ain't. I'm gonna make my little money, and I'm gonna take my ass to Columbia, and I'm gonna send y'all cars to let you know I'm thinking about you. You welcome to come and join me in Columbia when you ready to escape, because everybody needs a place to land when they escape. So if y'all got away, come on to my cabana. I don't know. I might be living in my car, but you can have the trunk. Come on.
that is the point of an exit strategy. Now, on that note, it's almost 9:30, so I'm gonna bug out because I got work in the morning.
I do too, and I'm behind. So thanks for sticking with me this long. We lost Can and everybody tonight, but that's okay. We'll be back tomorrow with story.
We'll be back tomorrow with the soaps as usual. You have a good night, Bubbles.
You too, darling. I'll see you tomorrow.
All right. Night night.
Good night.